Hey all, I am back for the next video, and I hope I don't get ahead of myself. Famous last words. But, since this is the unboxing video, I'm going to maybe divert a little bit, share some stuff with you about the game, get you more acclimated to it. A lot of you have been here, but for the new Crusaders, we'll go over a few things. Because I kind of derailed before, but I guess I'm famous for that. Remember we were talking about the land of Avalon there, okay? The lights on it, but we look at this, and I said about we had that special edition. My original dice tray was here, but check the company's YouTube channel. A long time ago, I showed everyone how to make your own Dungeon Crusade dice tray. And you don't need this, but it's a more cooler feature. It keeps track of the phases, and we're going to get into all this. So I don't want to scare you off. It's very easy, and it's a very fun combat system. But let me say first, so remember this. I don't want to forget. You can check out how to make your own dice tray, and a very awesome best friend of me, Paulo, from Portugal, helped me get these things done for the special editions. Because when you got the special edition, you got a map of Avalon, and you got a custom-made Dungeon Crusade dice tray. But let me touch on this real quick, and hopefully, we're going to get to this later. But in the land of Avalon, I created 6 different warfare types. Okay, because one of the things I wanted to address with this game is, and guys, how much I've played these games, I've told you, is true party building. And I think that's something that's really lacking in these games, and I wanted to fully address that. And what I mean by that is, a lot of these games, which of course I love and play, there's just like a ranged and a melee, where I really wanted to get into what true party building is. It's like having a barbarian for, like maybe the might end of it, and then your wizard for arcane stuff, a priest for the spiritual and holy stuff, so on and so forth. So in the land of Avalon, back there, I created 6 different warfare types. And hopefully this all fall into place. Kind of diverting a little bit, but hope you don't mind. I pulled this from the prototype game. I didn't break those out yet. Just know there's physical warfare. Actually, here. Remember these color of this dice, the D12 and D6, okay? There's physical warfare, represented by swords. There's ranged warfare, blue, represented by bows, crossbows. And each of the heroes are versed in a few of these, but let me say this first. Here's arcane, green, okay? Mythical warfare. Oh, I'm sorry, arcane, think of staffs. Think like what a wizard would use. Mythical, purple dice. Mythical is your daggers. And then spiritual is orange, okay? And you're going to use orange dice. Think maces, scepters, hammers, stuff like that. Finally, chaos. And these are like axes, like what a barbarian would wield, black dice. Okay? So we have physical, ranged, arcane, mythical, spiritual, and chaos. And here's another little, I guess it kind of goes with the unboxing, a hero card. Hopefully this light shows it off really good. This is in the expansion here. This is Cane Redfeather. Let me move this in here. So I think I'm getting some glare. Hopefully that's better. And Sunny, if you're watching, we had a create a hero, and Sunny, I remember, got this one. Level 1. Hopefully this isn't too fuzzy. Let me try to move this thing back. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. Here's all those warfare types right here. So we can see that Cane here, he's a ranger. So he's very versed in ranged warfare, and he is not very good in physical. Well, he's middle of the road with physical warfare, the red one. And then he's very good with chaos warfare. See right there? It's hard to see through the camera. So, and he's terrible like in arcane warfare. So those values you could add to those dice we just saw. Does that make sense? So with, so say if he was going to be battling a monster with mythical, he's not very versed in that. He would have to deduct 2 from these dice if he was fighting a monster that was versed in mythical warfare. So my point is, like, so if we took Cain here, he excels at ranged warfare and chaos warfare, but he's poor with arcane and mythical. He's middle of the road with spiritual and physical. So you're going to see, like, say, if I don't want to grab it, though. I don't want to disrupt what we're talking about. But if we got our wizard hero, Zeke, he is very proficient, of course, in arcane because he's a wizard. And he's good in mythical. So hopefully you can see just from this little thing right here, if you party those two together, they complement each other and can take on tougher monsters where he would not be that good against, a monster who's versed in arcane warfare and mythical warfare. So hopefully that's sinking. We're going to be doing more. Up here are the attributes. That's strength, willpower, wisdom, agility, speed. You roll a d6 and he could add +3 to the result. And then that's his lockpicking there, that he can add a +1 to all lockpicking. He can hide. This is his hide attribute, how well he can conceal himself in the darkness. That's 2, and evade is 2. We're going to get to all that. And he is a class 2 hero. We're going to get into this later. This is the AI for the monsters of who they will attack. Monsters in Dungeon Crusade, I program them to go after heroes they can do the most damage to. And they're pretty tough. Starting weapon, and of course level 1. But I wanted to show you this because I wanted to do a system for the hero cards where it was very easy, where you don't have to put hit markers on it. So I came up with this clip system, and these things go on very nicely. And they're very, as you can see, they stay right in place. I mean, if you don't fling it across the room or anything, but they just slide up and down the track. And the nice thing is it doesn't bend the card at all. They're perfect, and it works very, very nice. So I wanted to achieve that for players where you can just slide up and down for, like how much health you have. And don't worry, they're not going to wear out your cards or anything like that. I've had that asked. They're little plastic clips, guys. They're going to be absolutely fine. So there we go. So anyway, there's a hero card. I hope you enjoyed seeing that. We're going to see much more as our unboxing continues. And let's take a look at this. Kind of getting a little ahead of myself. But this is a champion monster. So know that there's minions, champions, and guardians. Minions traverse through the dungeon, and they start out as vagrant minions. And they can convert to raiding minions. Champion monsters, we'll show you the back. That David Shear did the backings for all the monster cards. Tells you it's a level 1 champion monster. Champion monsters reside in the chambers of the dungeon. You'll always find champion monsters. And the exciting part of this, because it's a dungeon crawl game, you're going to never know what's in those chambers. That's where the doors are, if you remember from our intermission video. So the thing is, you'll never know what champion monsters reside. You'll have an idea of their level. I had to be appropriate and created in the game. So let's say your heroes are level 1. And they're doing a quest, a level 1 quest, you can expect to see level 1, possibly level 2. Nothing over that. Again, you can create your own quests and scenarios and make level 3 or level 4 in there. But, as the creator, I had to do, appropriate quests. But then again, this is the world's first open world dungeon crawl board game. You can, let me get that back in focus. That's a very good close-up. You can go into other chambers that have higher level monsters. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. I would recommend to do the quests in the appropriate order. So when a hero is like level 2 and they're doing quests, you can expect to see level 2 monsters, possibly level 3. When the heroes are level 3, you could expect to see level 3, maybe some level 4s in there. So I was very appropriate in designing that for what your heroes will encounter. Of course, you're free to do what you want. But my point was, we can see over here, see the warfare types. Every single monster in Dungeon Crusade, every single one you run into will be versed in 3 of the 6 warfare types. So if we look at the Massive Viper, it's versed in physical warfare, ranged warfare, and mythical warfare. The first value there was, let's look at physical there. I'm trying to get it on camera. 14-1. That means when you're battling that monster, I love this combat system, guys. I love combat, and this is a very fun combat system. You're going to be using the red dice, okay? You need to meet or exceed that number in order to score a hit. How much damage you do is depending on what weapon you have equipped and how much damage output it is. So if you remember, if you saw that little story, that scary story I told you in the intermission, that Sword of the Heaven, I think, was +3. So if your hero's equipped with that, it could put +3 damage. It's very simple. And then so on and so forth. So like if when you're fighting the Massive Viper, 10 or high, 10 or better will score a hit. And then on Mythical, what is that, 12? Yeah, 12. And a 1. Is it? Yeah, 12. So what that means is that the number to the right, that means if your hero misses and doesn't strike and hit that monster will do that much damage to a hero. Make sense? And then we're going to get the rest of the loot drop and the gold and all the other stuff. But for right now, just know that every monster is versed in those 3 warfare types. Freddy Lopez, I asked him to do a Massive Viper, and yes, he went overboard. That thing looks incredibly deadly. And then since we're talking about this, we'll end it up with this. Again, I hope you didn't mind me diverting a little bit, but I wanted to, get you more acclimated to the game as we're unboxing it and everything. So going back to our pleasant Massive Viper, we can see it's versed in physical warfare. It's versed in ranged warfare, and is versed in mythical, okay? So what we're going to do is, when combat starts, and this is my favorite part of this game, you're going to take these, and you're going to shuffle them, like so. You're not going to, you don't want to know what's going to come up in what phase. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. Just like look over in the dice box. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. So let's just say, would be very reckless, let's just say we sent in our ranger, Kane Redfeather, into a chamber without any hero. You can rally up to 2 heroes to create a party. But we're going to say we just sent Kane in there on his own, and he encountered this Massive Viper, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to reveal these. Okay, Phase 1 is going to be physical. Phase 2 is going to be mythical. And remember, he's kind of not very good with mythical. And then Phase 3 is going to be ranged, which he is very good at. Then we get the battle tokens. Did I show you these things before? Let me clear this up here. Let's get the dice we're going to need. Again, I hope you're enjoying this very quick combat tutorial. These are your battle tokens. There's an attack side, and then there's a defend side. What you're going to do is a hero can dual wield, right? You can have a weapon in each hand. So let's just say that, for sake of argument, that Kane did have like a sword and his bow equipped, okay? So what we're going to do is you can only attack with one weapon per phase. So let's say he decides he's going to attack with his sword. He has, of course, the weapon card. We're going to take the Phase 1 token, the attack side, and we're going to simply place it on the weapon, of the sword. So let's just, I don't have it out right now, but let's say we put that on his sword. Now, of course, mythical, we know he's not very good in mythical at all. If we look back here, what is that? That's a -2. He's going to have to deduct 2 from that roll because he's not versed in mythical warfare. See? If we look at physical, it's 0, so we can't really add anything to that. Finally, we look over here at ranged. Of course, he is great with ranged, and he could add a +3 to that. So you can add +3 to the blue dice. What you do is then, sorry, I had to go back. Phase 1, of course, we put on the sword, right? And then we're going to take Phase 3 and put that on his bow that he would have equipped. So both of these are on weapons, right? Simply because he's defending in Phase 2, we're going to put this on his hero card. And that signifies that he is defending in Phase 2. And so I think someone's going to ask, well, can I just attack with this, you know, with my sword with that. No, that's in the rules. You cannot do that. It's once you have a weapon in your left hand, say, okay, that's for phase one. Whatever's in your right hand, that's with your bow. And I know a bow is two-handed, but for sake of gameplay, that's what it is. So that's how that would play out. See? Like that. So what we would do then is come over here and we have these are called warfare dice. You know, see red, purple, blue, red, purple, blue. We get our dice cup if you're going to use a dice cup. And we're going to roll. Okay, so let's see if I can set this down here. Okay, so phase one, of course, was physical warfare. And then you did very good in phase two. That was a heck of a defense roll. Okay. So let's see what he got here. He would roll a 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. 12 and 3 is 15. 5 and 4 is 9. Let's take a look at the Massive Viper card. Okay, so notice under physical, you see hopefully it comes into focus. Doesn't that work sometime? Good. 14. Of course, he only has a 10 over here showing. Therefore, he's going to already take 1 damage. Remember the 1, how it's over on the side there? We come over to his hero card. He's going to take 1 damage. He's down to 9 hit points. Coming over to mythical. Now, even though we would look at mythical, notice he has that -2. We're going to have to take 2 off of that roll. So he scored a 13, correct? Well, luckily, it exceeded that. So he defended. He will not take any damage for that. Finally, for ranged, he scored a 9. And we can look here. He can add +3 because he's versed in ranged warfare. So that ends up at 12. Looking at the Massive Viper, he had to score 10 or better. So he would inflict a damage. So let's say he just had his starting weapon, which does 1 damage. He would score 1 on the Massive Viper. That's the end of the combat round. When you battle champion monsters, it's continuous until, you know, the heroes win, or they evade out of the chamber if the monster's too tough, or, of course, if the monster kills them. What we do is go back to round 2, same thing. You do the whole thing over again until there's, you know, either the heroes win, or the hero wins, or the monster. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of combat. I left a lot of stuff out, but I wanted to get, you know, the new people here kind of acclimated to it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, let me know. But we're going to do a full demo with a dungeon setup and weapons and all that stuff. But I assure you, it's a very, very fun combat system. I think you'll really enjoy it. Okay, guys, I went over big time. But I hope you enjoyed this little combat thing. So to go away with your homework, remember 6 warfare types in the land of Avalon. Monsters are versed in 3 out of the 6. Heroes are good in a few, neutral in a few, and bad in a few. True party building in Dungeon Crusade. Okay, guys, I'm going to see you again. We'll get another couple videos out. And now we're definitely going to go back to the unboxing. So I hope you didn't mind this little detour. I will talk to you in a few.